Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Thank you. Wherever you are on our amazing planet, I'm Ariel.
Yes, and I'm Shya.
Welcome to being here.
Yeah. You say our amazing planet. It's chilly out here now, and it's winter. And I was thinking, the song California Dream started playing in my head because the leaves here are brown.
All the
and
leaves are brown.
Right, and the sky
And
is
the
bright,
sky
clear today.
is clear.
But I started thinking this is an amazing planet because on where we are, it's cold. Somewhere else, it's warm.
Yeah.
Somewhere else, it's hot. Somewhere else, it may be frigid. But it's really quite an amazing possibility, this thing called being alive on planet Earth.
We have, if you've been listening to us for some time, we generally have 2 or 3 guests, usually 2, but today we have 3. And we were chatting with our guests before getting started today. And Ulf mentioned he wanted to know if under the weather was an idiom or a saying here in the US. And I realized at that point that isn't universal. Under the weather tends to refer to when you're getting a cold or you're not feeling very well,
or you're upset about
and you're
something.
kind of feeling blue.
Right.
So when he said he got it from the context of the description, ever feel like you're coming down with a cold or your energy depleted, no worries. Basically join us in being here and allow yourself to simply be. And you just may be surprised how rejuvenated you feel. So today is a possibility as we listen to each other. I'm going to listen to Shya. I'm going to listen to our guests. If you listen to all of us.
Here's the thing. The challenge is to listen. See, most of us don't just listen. We think about what's being said and see how it fits in with what we already believe, the way we understand life to be, what we've been raised with, all those conditions that affect our ability to hear what another person is saying and actually allow it to come in and get their point of view in the matter rather than compare it to what we believe. So when we talk about listening, we ask you to hold in abeyance or set aside your propensity to comment on what people are saying, but actually allow it to come into you and really hear it, not to talk about it to yourself, but to listen as an experience. That listening is an experience, not an idea.
It's likely to be a bit challenging at first. The commentary is usually our companion everywhere. So you've had plenty of time to comment on stuff like, oh, I didn't know what under the weather was, or, oh, yes, of course, it didn't occur to me.
It's so funny
other people.
Because we're listening to this book where there's a virtual companion.
Right.
Well, you have a virtual companion. It's your mind. It talks to you all the time. It keeps you company, but you're not that voice you listen to. So maybe you can discover today that you're the one that listens, not the one that speaks.
One more thing before we take our first guest. Shya and I do finish each other's sentences, and sometimes we shift where the conversation is going. We dovetail with each other. So you can listen and follow it almost like I'm getting it. Maybe it's because it's moving on to winter here. And by the time this is released, it will be winter here. In the Olympics, they have the luge.
Yeah.
Where
they sit on the sled and they sit on the sled
and they go down. So if we follow the conversation around the curves like we're on a luge, and just let what's gone by go by, A, we won't crash, and B, it's going to be a whole lot more fun. You never know what will happen today.
That's right.
Let's take our first guest.
Yes.
Hey, Daniela, welcome to being here. Tell people where you're zooming in from today.
Hi, I'm zooming in from Euskirchen, and that is located in Germany, very close to Cologne.
Nice. I can hear in your voice you have just a little congestion. Is that true?
Yeah, my nose is blocked. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
and
you're the perfect representation of under the weather. That's what people would say. Oh, my nose is blocked. I'm
yeah,
under the weather. Yeah.
we saw each other 3 or 4 weeks ago when I attended a seminar with you guys in Hamburg, Germany.
Hmm.
And there my cough started while 1 or 2 days before. So this is the rest of it.
Uh-huh. So it's lasted for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, what I wanted to mention, I really enjoy your seminars.
Hmm.
And I tell you why.
Okay. Tell us why.
Please do.
So first of all, it's fun. Um, and second of all, I come back home and I can see, if I want to, of course, um, how I am in certain situations. And I give you an example because when I was at your seminars, I think you, Ariel, said to me something like, "Oh, Daniela, have you ever realized how you want people to think what you think, or say what you say, or eat what you want them," referring to my family, Christian, my boyfriend, and Sophia, my daughter, mainly. And at first, when he said it to me, it was like, no, that's not me. And I came home and I could see it everywhere. And it was fun, um, not interfering, and I have the impression the less I interfere, the happier
What do
I
you mean by
am.
interfere with
Well,
yourself, interfere with them?
Interfere in, I'm always when there is a
okay. How
situation.
about this? You're always trying to control everything and everybody around you. Would that
Yes,
summarize it?
yes,
Let's talk about the three principles of instantaneous transformation, because I think this is just such a perfect example. And it is also a perfect example of somebody's feeling sick. The first principle is anything you don't like, don't want to see, it owns you. Anything you judge.
Anything you resist, it persists. It's like by pushing up against it, become attached to it. And then you can't get rid of it because you're pushing against it.
mm,
So the first principle is anything you resist persists, grows stronger, and dominates your life.
And then the second principle is Daniela can only be exactly as she is in any given moment. So you can add your name to that if you're listening. You can only be exactly as you are in any given.
In the current moment of your life. Let's put it there. Not in any given. Leave any given as
Okay, I like
an
that.
afterthought. We're going to start with exactly where you are in this moment is exactly as you are, and you cannot be different than you are in the current moment of your life. And that includes all of your life circumstances, your
yes,
relationships,
Status.
status. I was looking for that word.
Mhm.
Your relationship status, your financial status, your work status, your life in general. It can only be exactly as it is right now. So, if that's the case, your life can only be exactly as it was in any previous moment.
yeah.
So you couldn't have done it differently than you
Mm,
did. You haven't done it wrong. You've just done it exactly as you did.
mm,
Third principle, anything you see without judging completes itself in an instant. And I suspect this is what you're talking about, not interfering.
yeah.
And I don't totally recall or really recall the specifics of that conversation with you, but I'm very certain that if it was me or if it was Shia, we were relating to what we had observed.
Yeah.
You see something in a non-judgmental way, it completes itself. Now, of course, like most of us, you're like, oh no, you think that's awful.
Well, no is a form of resistance, you see.
Which is automatic.
And it keeps what you don't want in place.
Yeah.
So you go home and you see it everywhere, and then you have a choice. You could resist that it was happening, or you could observe it like, oh, look at this.
Well, even more than observe, I'd say embrace. See, if you push against something, you get stuck to it. If you allow it to be as it is, it completes itself.
This is me, glorious me.
Anything that you allow to be exactly as it is allows you to be.
Yeah. Yes.
And so it gives you the freedom to start discovering your life moment to moment rather than the conversation which prescribes how you've been, which keeps you being that way going forward in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been fun to see it, and
Well, you know,
yeah.
as you say that, Daniela, if it's been fun to discover it, it will no longer dominate your life. And by that, I mean, you'll have choice. You can say something or not say something when you see that you couldn't help but say something before.
Yeah.
Just by seeing it, it gives you options.
The other thing is, if you realize that you're wanting to, in this case, pick on your boyfriend or your daughter or control them for how they behave, how they eat, what they eat, where you're picking on them, if you see that, you got to figure that's hardwired in you. And now you've learned how to bypass that. It's like you've got a circuit that goes around. Well, however, if you get upset, it's like you fry the go around circuit and you may start regenerating that behavior.
Well, it may let you know that you are upset.
Which is, yes, what Shia is saying. It's that's not a problem like, oh my God, I backslid. Oh my God. It's, oh, I just picked on them in my thoughts. I must be upset. It can be like the early warning system that you're about to get sick.
Yeah, could be. Cool. Yeah. I find it amazing that I'm coming back from your seminars and I'm having fun with it. You know what I mean? It's like that I can just see it and then, oh, yeah, I see it now.
Very good.
Yeah,
well, look,
I find
you
it.
stop. See, the thing is, you're not the voice in your head. The voice in your head wants to protect itself. See, it wants to be right. It wants to protect itself, and it wants to control the way life is showing up around you. As you relax into being you and discover that you're not that voice, you don't have to be as nervous, if you will, about the way life shows up. It shows. See, your mind is a survival machine, and it worries about the future. You know, the future is going to show up not a moment before it does, exactly as it does. And you really have no control over it. So you can either upset yourself in advance, or you can start, as you're doing, enjoying discovering who you are moment by moment.
Thank you.
I have a quick question for you. Well, a couple. The first is, if I'm not mistaken, you mentioned it 4 or 5 weeks ago, you started getting a cold before you came, and you wore a mask during the seminar, correct?
Yes. Yes.
We all tested to make sure none of us had COVID or anything like that. Everybody was negative, but you were concerned that you might,
Infect somebody.
anybody with a cold. So you wore a mask, and you now still have the lingering effects, which from what I hear is quite common these days. Some of these colds tend to draw out for a long time. Here's my question. It seems to me while we're speaking with you that you just have some physical symptoms that you're including. Your well-being seems to be really intact. Is that the case?
Yes. Yes, it is the case.
Yeah, you know how sometimes if you're not feeling well, you sink into feeling sorry for yourself and want other people. This is really lovely. I'm really seeing that in the community, that lots of people, people get sick from time to time, but there's a difference between falling physically ill and then falling sorry for yourself because you're physically ill. You can be very well and your body can be sick at the same time.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you for being with us today. That was fun. I'd forgotten all about all that stuff at the seminar.
Thank you.
I love hearing that you can hear things, see things, and have your life transform. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Me too.
Choose. Alrighty then. Drum roll, please. You sound like our cat. It's time for our listener feedback spotlight while Shya is here purring with me. We get to hear from one of our listeners
about how transformation has impacted their lives. And if you'd like to learn more or register for any of our upcoming courses, visit transformationmadeeasy.com.
Yeah.
And when I say easy, it's like the fire swamp.
Yeah, join us.
If you know your way through it, it's easy. If you have a good guide, it's easy. If you don't, well, there's rodents of unusual size. There's lightning sand.
Oh,
What's
all
the
those.
other thing?
I don't remember.
Oh, and the fire spurts. Right.
There you go.
There you go.
We're great
Transformation made easy.
This is Deirdre in Sydney, and I love talking with the Canes, listening to their podcasts, going to the seminars. It makes life better. And there are times I don't even realize that I'm a bit off center sometimes. And then when I'm in their company, whether that's physically in their company or listening to a podcast, something realigns and life just gets better. It's great.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
This podcast is airing while Shya and I are already in Costa Rica preparing for this year's Costa Rican Instantaneous Transformation Adventures. Looking forward to seeing so many of you who are joining us there. So our next Living Made Easy 2-hour virtual seminars are happening in February, the 2nd, which is a Monday, and the 7th, which is a Saturday. Our magical relationships events are on Monday, the 9th, and Tuesday, the 10th. So you can join us for those if you'd like. Just go ahead and go up to the website and register. Our weekends that are coming up, we have a couple in-person seminars.
On March 27th, 28th, and 29th in New York City, we're doing an in-person seminar, The Power of Listening.
We were planning on doing something else, but we changed it to this.
Well, I actually think that's the name of it, but I think the name should be something like the experience of listening, but I don't want to change it for what's out there. But it's really about discovering how to experience your life moment by moment through listening.
Well, maybe we'll change it up before next week. We're still putting together the seminar. We can do anything we want.
That's
So
true.
you can go to our website, transformationmadeeasy.com, and see what we ultimately landed on as the title.
We're going to have the Freedom to Breathe May 14th and Being Boldly You May 15th, 16th, and 17th in Hamburg, Germany. Again, that's an in-person seminar.
That reminds me of Star Trek, being
Be
boldly
boldly
you,
you.
going where no one has gone before. Okay.
Or maybe where you haven't gone before.
It won't be long. Within the next week or so, Costa Rica 2027 will be available to register. You can check for anything we're up to on our website, transformationmadeeasy.com. All
And
right.
now we are ready to have a
Drum roll,
conversation
please.
with Ulf.
Hi, Ulf. Welcome to being here. Where are you zooming in from?
Hi guys, this is Ulf from Hamburg in Germany.
Hi.
Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
What can we
So
do
that
for you,
was,
sir?
sorry?
What can we do for you?
Yeah, that was very funny because as I read the invitation for this podcast, I thought, yeah, feeling low energy, feeling ill, that's actually me. Because for the last 2 or 3 weeks, I feel ill. So in a way, I couldn't figure out what it is. And last Friday, I went to the doctor. She couldn't find out either. So that's
Well, as you're speaking, I have a thought
Mhm.
or an idea. So, was there something upsetting that happened in your life just before this quote illness overtook you?
Yeah. Well, actually, I thought about that too because as you spoke to Daniela, there was this upset question. So and I wrote it on the paper and said, yeah, upset. Well, there may be some things that upset me. So my mom is getting older. She's 88 now.
Yeah.
And she lives 2 hours away. So I drive to her every few weeks to help her out with everything, so to say. And 5 weeks ago, I drove with my old car there, and the car broke down.
Mhm.
And I stood there for 2 hours on the Autobahn waiting for someone to catch me. But I get a car, and my car is getting to be to a garage, and I drove to my mom and helped her out. So and for 5 weeks, my car was there, and I tried to repair it. So that was in a kind of way upsetting, and yeah.
Well, I have a different take on that, Ulf.
Mhm.
I I'm picturing you standing on the side of the Autobahn.
Mhm.
By the way, I said choose at the end of the last segment, which is goodbye for all you German folks. So it's kind of like under the weather. If you're not familiar with choose, just please excuse me. I'm seeing you on the side of the Autobahn, and I see that stressor breaking the veneer over top of Ulf's life, where going to see your mom as she's aging is just part of life, where really the entire situation is generative of an upset. So you add this extra stressor, it breaks the skin you have over top of this. Oh my gosh, what if I get there and she's fallen today, or she's not doing so well, or where do we, I don't want to lose my mom. All those things that are typical when you have a aging parent. And then of course you have the complication of not having your car with you for 5 weeks. But I don't believe that started the upset. I imagine it revealed the upset.
Yeah, that may be so.
And
That
I have often found that I'm more prone to getting a cold or getting the flu or being energetically depleted when I have an upset and I'm fighting having an upset.
Yeah. I think I have a hard time between helping her on the one side and letting it be as it is, because there's nothing I can do against it, and just embracing the time that I have with her left.
Yeah, can you feel how when you say that you get your emotions come to the surface?
Yeah.
Well, it really is about letting yourself
Feel
that. Yeah,
what you're feeling.
yeah, I can.
That's the good stuff, man. That's what the good stuff of life is made up by.
Yeah.
I see that deep breath.
I was thinking, as you were talking about the definition of the word upset, it means something like to disturb the functioning, fulfillment, or completion of something, to overturn or overthrow, especially unexpectedly. There, you know, there are when things happen that you do not expect or do not like or do not want, upset is the end product. And it's, you can physically be upset and it manifests like a cold.
Yeah.
Where you want to go to sleep. You want to cover yourself up with a blanket and hibernate.
Get cozy. Kuschelig, to say in German, get all cozy and hibernate. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I feel.
But see, I don't think it's only your, I know, we know you. And I know that your child went off to study someplace far away.
Yeah.
And you know, so
there's loss there.
There's loss and loss and loss. Then it's the car, and then it's like, and the mind strings it all together. And you know, you think you should be over anything by now.
Yeah, I should take it like a man, you know. So but it's a loss. It's absolutely a loss. So my second child, Jonathan, is also studying in Aachen now, which is some 5 hours away from us. So yeah, that's also a loss. So I felt that, and my daughter is in Seoul in Korea. Yeah, it's a loss. Yeah, it's a loss.
Yeah, and your mind strings them together. Yeah.
Yeah, like a pyramid.
Well, the thing is this, it's going to be the way it is. And you can either upset yourself that it's not the way you want it, or you can get along with the program and realize the perfection of each moment.
I also feel like, if it's so easy in a way to get lost in the whirlpool of my daughter's in Seoul, Korea, my son's moving 5 hours away, my mother's aging, my car broke down. It's like, it's easy to get lost in the whirlpool of repetitive thoughts rather than look at what comes next. You know, you may not know.
I wonder, is there something coming up that you need to deal with?
Is there anything you're avoiding looking at? What's that?
So actually, I got my car back, so that is fixed. And yeah, went to my mom last Monday, and on the way to it, I got the car. So this thing that's in front of me is our last son, Samuel, and has trouble in the school. So he's 13 now. So to say, in the age for having some trouble with teachers, and in his mind he has a lot of ideas, things to do that are better than housework and working for school and going to school. And yeah, that's
But
challenging.
he's 13.
He's 13.
So I'm gonna go off on a tangent here, apparently. How are you and your wife doing?
We are doing good, I would say.
Yes, the reason I ask is because your 13-year-old is getting your attention now by not doing well in school.
When I was in 5th grade, 6th grade, I don't know what the age was. I was,
That's about 12.
12 or ish. I started doing badly in school, just spontaneously doing badly in school. Now, I love school. I loved school all the way through school. But my parents were in stress. I became the focal point. They could go to school, they could talk to my teacher, they could do things with me. I believe with my heart of hearts that I started acting up to save them. I was always saving them. Now, that may not be the case with your youngest, and it may just be that you guys don't know what to do next as semi-empty nesters, or, to fill your time, or you don't want to look at making plans for what might need to happen next with your mom. Like he can fill the void for you to take care of you. And I have no idea what's going on with your wife. So even if you're doing well, apparently, I have a suspicion that that's the skin over top of you guys haven't settled into this new life phase.
Well, it's got to be upsetting. You're losing your children. They're disappearing from the house.
I mean, of course, it's what you want, and it's what they want, and it's the normal growth cycle, but that doesn't make it
any less upsetting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you might find yourself under the weather.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we have to do more as a couple. Yeah, we met friends and but not a lot in the last time. So we're more in this, when you have little pets, this running wheel where you run.
The hamster wheel.
Yeah, hamster wheel. Yeah, that's what I thought about. Yeah, and not having time together. So
be together.
Yeah.
This podcast is called Being Here.
Yeah.
Being with each other. And so I tell you, your son, his problems in school are bringing you two together.
But it may be time to
do it as a proactive way of going about your life rather than having to react to your son's problems at school to bring you together.
And, one thing you say, is like, it's time for you guys to do things, social things with other people. I would take a step before that. We have friends who have 3 kids. And one of the things they do from time to time is get somebody in to
take care of the kids,
or have the kids go on sleepovers. And they actually rent a hotel so that they can be together and have intimate time together. And then the gentleman was telling us that on the way to the hotel in the car service, they started to have a fight. And then they realized that it was easier to have a disagreement than to confront uninterrupted intimacy with each other and what that might bring. And so they dropped the fight and had a very lovely weekend. But it occurs to me that you might have the opportunity to re-meet your wife and have some intimate time now, but it could be confronting.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Thank you.
You're welcome. Nice having you with us today. Let's take our next guest. We have 3 today. All right, Dave, welcome to being here. Tell people where you're zooming in from.
Hi. Yeah, I'm calling, zooming from Winnipeg in Canada.
Nice.
Is it cold in Winnipeg in Canada?
It's getting cold. Yeah, it's not too bad yet, but it's
By the
coming.
time this
Feel it.
airs, though, it'll
Ve-
probably be pretty
Very
darn
cold.
chilly.
Yeah, true. By the time this airs, it's usually very, very cold.
What is very, very cold in your minus what?
So minus 25 to minus 35 Celsius. I don't know what that translates in Fahrenheit, but
Very,
That
very cold.
that translates to very
it is.
Do you,
Yeah.
do you have little booties for your dog's feet for going out on the sidewalk when it's that
I
cold?
I do. I got them for him a couple years ago. He hates them. You put him on and he looks like those horses that prance, like he's trying not to touch the ground. He's very funny. And I had to get ones that would stay on because we'd get halfway through a walk and he's throwing them off.
Will his paws like freeze to the ground if you don't have that?
They don't freeze to the ground, but you can tell he gets a little sensitive and sometimes I have to take off my glove and warm his paw up before we can continue.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
So the theme is under the weather. What can we do for you?
Um, lately my mind has been feels like it's been louder than maybe in a long time. And I know I've been listening to it, but I've been caught in a
What's it
cycle
been
of
saying?
just pretty consistently afraid that I'm going to reveal something or say something or do something that's going to I don't know exactly, but it's going to be wrong. It's going to I don't know, bring
So,
up.
how about this? Things have been going along pretty darn good with your girlfriend in England and your job as an engineer in Canada and with your employees. And now it's worrying that maybe something will happen and things will go bad.
That yes.
That's the function of the mind. I would say, not knowing anything else, that you're not busy enough. If you have time to think about all this stuff, you're not busy enough.
I
You'd like to disagree with me. I know that.
well, that's not the idea I have. Business is busy, all that stuff. But there's a lot of other time in the evening where I'm by myself, especially when I'm here in Winnipeg. Yeah,
Well, it makes me wonder if on some level the child version of you is pouting that you don't have your girlfriend in Winnipeg with you.
that is a good
That'll
idea.
put me under the weather. Because if people don't know your girlfriend lives in the
Oxford.
UK,
Yes.
in
Oxford.
and you travel there and run your business in Canada from there, for certain parts of the year. And now you're back at home and you don't have the actual person next to you. You don't have the physical attention and, the companionship that you've come to rely on. You're on yourself with yourself and you're having a type of upset.
Temper tantrum.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And if you look, it's probably very similar to the temper tantrums you had as a child.
Yeah.
And my parents are making me go to school, and that is a stupid subject.
Well, when my parents separated and divorced when I was quite young, and it was always when I was with one, wanted to be with the other. And I have a tantrum about that.
Yes. So here you are. I'll bet you there are times when you're with Tanya where you're like, oh, I should be spending more time with my kids.
Yep.
Like now you're with your kids, you're like, oh, I
Oh my
wish I could
God.
spend more time with Tanya. It's like, how many thoughts do we have a day, Shya? It's
40 to
repetitive.
60,000, man, 80% of which are negative. So, and they're repetitive. You have them every day. So,
You've
yeah,
reconstructed your life only with a different
set of
cast of
circumstances.
characters.
Right. You know, like that's why I say you're not busy enough. Because when you're busy, when you're really engaged in a project, and that's where you're fully there, then you don't think about these things that you are dissatisfied with. They don't exist. They only exist when your mind goes on, or when your reality goes on idle, when there's nothing pressing that you are engaged in. And an upset seems to do that too. You see, when upsets are caused by things like loss. Well, you were in England not too long ago, and then you have lost that circumstance, and she's there and you're here.
And the holidays are coming.
Yes, that is very accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's not surprising.
It was funny. I was thinking about it this morning. As you know, Shya and I have a passion for fishing, and we go to British Columbia in recent years every year. And while we're there, we stay in a cabin, and the cabin has a duvet. When I climb in at night, it feels so good. And I was thinking about it this morning. Last night, we went to bed pretty late, and it felt so good. And I realized that if I'm really, really active during the day, if I fill my day, if I'm fully engaged, then it feels so good to go to bed. But if I'm not fully engaged, it's so much easier to go to bed and think. And I have a feeling that you haven't found things to engage yourself with fully because you're in the midst of a little
Still want to be in England rather than Canada.
Yeah.
one, my mom instead of my dad. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I do like to work out, run, and be active. And when I've since I've come back, and actually the last time before when I was here, I did almost none of it because I was pouting or whatever.
Those two things can occupy the same day at the same time, you see. So you can either pout or you can have fun.
Well, our other friend Dave was telling us how every time he goes to work out, he has the thought, oh, I don't want to. And his mind gives him options to get out of it. And he notices it, and then he goes and works out. And I thought, really, that's excessive. I'm sure it's not every time. And then I started noticing how I have those thoughts. Well, in the midst of this upset, you're like, oh, I don't want to run. I don't want to work out. But you're listening to those thoughts as if they're real, as opposed to investing in the things that you know support your well-being and doing it with consistency.
Yeah, and I didn't, and I really felt it, like physically, but also my mental capacity was lower, everything.
Well, if you're normal, you want to be right. So you want to be right that it's unfair that she's in England and you're here, kind of like mom and dad. It's unfair. In a better world, they would have stayed together. We want to be right, even at the expense of our own
well-being.
Mm. Yeah, that's true. Mm.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, you have this choice. You can either be right or you can be alive. You want to be experiencing being alive and have love and health and happiness and full self-expression. You have to give up being right.
Mm.
And sometimes it's difficult because you're accurate.
Right.
One of the things that Shya and I were talking about this morning in regards to this whole theme of under the weather was that sometimes it takes a bit of time for things to resolve themselves, like Daniela's cold. But have you noticed that the more you focus on your ailment, in this case, Tanya being elsewhere,
The longer it takes to get back to well-being.
Yeah.
We were at an orthopedic surgeon maybe 42 years ago, 43 years ago. And of course, Ariel had a problem with her knee. And I speak to the doctor and I say, I have this problem with my ankle. It clicks whenever I move it this way.
and Shay showed him by flexing his
And
ankle.
he says, good, well, stop moving it that way. It doesn't click anymore, you see.
And earlier on, this orthopedic surgeon lived in the same building we lived in on Park Avenue. And we went out to dinner with him one night. We were chatting, and he was talking about how the body wants to heal itself. And that if you leave it alone, it tends to get better. And how I've noticed, like I have things that are healing, like I have a little scrape on my arm. And the more I focus on it,
The longer it takes to heal.
And when you take your attention and invest it elsewhere, the healing process takes care of itself.
That is cool. Well, so after the Hamburg seminar that Daniela mentioned, I was there as well. I made a couple stops on the way back to be with Tanya, and I had been investing in this upset, and it took us longer to reconnect than it ever has when we were actually together. So I've been complaining about being apart, and then we get together, and we're still not yet together. It's very cool to see that.
It is cool to see that because you don't have to replicate that.
Yeah.
And also,
Seeing it can be enough for it to complete.
mhm,
Maybe not forever, but maybe forever.
Sweet.
nice.
Oh, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for being with us.
Yes.
What
Thank
really
you.
a treat.
Same.
If you want to know what's upcoming, don't know if you're listening to this in real time or you're listening to it in the archives, just go to transformationmadeeasy.com, see what's upcoming, or you can also sign up for our newsletter because we send out videos, blogs, and also information on what's upcoming. Again, transformationmadeeasy.com. Our next week's episode is on the theme of
Intimate moments.
that's perfect.
Yeah. What's
Yeah,
a perfect one?
Well, we were talking with Ulf about how some of the challenges may be
An avoidance of intimacy.
and in a way, this kind of morphed with Dave into intimate moments, like
Mhm.
like that. Oh, this strategy kind of saves you from having to be fully intimate wherever you are, whether it's enjoying the company of your
But-
dog, your kids,
Well,
your
what's
girlfriend,
interesting
yourself.
to me,
Mhm.
it throws you back into childlike behavior.
Well, yeah, childish for sure.
Oh, childish. Yes, childish.
So we'll
behavior.
talk more about that next week. We'll be back next week.
So come on back.
And don't miss being here.